Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
This is the first genealogy day at the Huntington Public Library. The idea germinated from past genealogy workshops and programs that we've hosted here at the library. Huntington is a history town, and anything to do with history, albeit properties, historic houses, genealogy, anything related to history is always popular here.
Postcards were big in those days. Now everybody sends emails. But you also want to find the envelopes if you can, because the envelope probably has the date and maybe the return address of the person who's sending it.
We're having 6 lectures today that'll help the beginner get started in finding out how to interview their relatives, start researching their family tree, and how to plan a research tour. It's very important today for people to do the research to find out about their health histories, because today your doctor, using the health history that you can provide by doing your family research, may be able to detect a problem and do some preventative care with you before something becomes a major problem.
The first step, regardless of your ethnicity, is always the same. Talk to your family members. Try and track down maybe different documents to do with your family members, death certificates, marriage records, church records, and start from there. And that's like your skeleton then that you hopefully can put more flesh on with census records, city directories, and other types of records then in the various cities and states where your ancestors would have lived. There's a misconception maybe that Irish genealogy is very, very hard because of a catastrophic fire. So we're going to point out that there are still a lot of records that you can utilise, and also as well that you need to do some research here in the United States before making that jump across to doing genealogical research in Ireland.
My topic was planning a research trip near or far. And the important thing is to be prepared whether you're going 5 miles away or you're going to go overseas. What I talked about today was the fact that somebody died without a will. That doesn't mean that you don't go look for information, because lots of times the court appoints an administrator, and the administrator in New York State has to identify every individual who is possibly a candidate to share the estate. Even with the will, let's say a person mentions 4 children in the will, but he had 8. The executor has to also identify the other 4 people who were not in there in case they want to contest the will. So lots of times it's those techniques that become very important because they're in the records and people don't think about it.
My focus is on oral history, and it is so important because whatever it is, the family lore, the family myths, they all contain at least a kernel of information that is factual. Sometimes by the stories being repeated over and over again, they kind of get glossed over or pumped up a little bit, or certain things are tamped down, but eventually you get to the core of what is a basic truth.
I've been trying to get started in genealogy for many years. I get very frustrated when I go online and I run into what I think are dead ends. So I was hoping today would get me beyond that first step. I learned that there are a lot of groups out there that can help me, both specific ethnic groups and general genealogy groups. And so I am planning to get involved with some of them at least, and I'm assuming they'll help me get beyond those blockages.
Well, I have a difficult problem because my mother was an orphan during the Depression. And then the other problem is that she has a name, Warner, W-A-R-N-E-R, which there are many of, and also Hart. So what I've done is research more on my father's side, and I'm still going to be working on my mom's side. It's just going to take a little bit longer.
Everybody ultimately wants to know where they are from. Everybody in the United States has an immigrant ancestor, whether they came here in the previous generation or came 400 or 500 years ago. So people have a very strong urge and desire to understand that, where are my people from? And genealogy is exactly what that is all about.